So just 2 days remain for the ICC World Test Championship final. 7th of June, you're going to see India and Australia battle it out in what will be the ultimate test. 2 years of slogging, 2 years of twists and turns, drama, passion, emotion, all get culminated at the Oval. And this test match. It's more than a test match. It's a chance for India to end their 10-year ICC drought. And if you look at their 2-year performances, it gives you a confidence that yes, why not? Why can't India end the 10-year jinx at this point in time? Because it is very important to note that in this video, I am going to talk about the recap. How India made it to the ICC World Test Championship final. Now you will know that Australia and India were the top two teams in the ICC World Test Championship cycle. But in the case of India, it wasn't as simple. You had to wait until the last test of this cycle to ensure that India made it to the final. And why did this come about? It will be explained in this video. So, if you look at India's journey in the ICC World Test Championship final, they lost only one test at home, but they also lost one series outside of it. They won a total of 10 games, lost 5 and drew only 3. But when those losses happened, it came at a very crunch time for India and they were almost on the brink on certain occasions. In this video, it's just a simple recollection. India's winning at home. They played 8 games, won 5, drew 2, lost 1. It was these 2 draws and this 1 loss that almost put India on the course of an elimination, because in the first series in this cycle that we saw at home, they took on New Zealand. New Zealand escaped with a draw at Kanpur with just 1 wicket to go, and somehow they denied India a golden chance. But Ajaz Patel took 10 wickets, the perfect 10. He became the 3rd individual to achieve the perfect 10. But New Zealand collapsed spectacularly and India won the match at the Wankhede. On the other hand, they had a clinical performance against Sri Lanka, defeated them 2-0 in Mohali and Bengaluru. But it was against Australia, where there were the ultimate twists and turns. Dominated in Nagpur to win, dominated in Delhi to win, but they lost to Australia in Indore. And the 4th test ended in a draw. What did that mean? It meant that they were left for Sri Lanka to do them a favor. It meant that Sri Lanka had to lose to New Zealand, which they did. And when they lost that first test at Christchurch, India's passage was sealed in the World Test Championship final. But how did it come about that India, despite having such a dominant performance, ended up having to rely on other results to make through? Because in the overseas cycle that India had, they had a very mixed journey. They played 10, won 5, drew 1, but lost 4. And those 4 losses came in the Sena countries. 2 to England, 2 to South Africa. They drew 2-2 versus England. Remember, the England tour was a very weird cycle, if you may say, because the first 4 tests were played in 2021. India had registered a 2-1 lead at that point in time, winning at Lord's and at the Oval. But when they came back 1 year later, because COVID rescheduled the 5th test and the ICC World T20 was nearing, that was the reason why a different England side absolutely baseballed India, and 2-2 was the series result. But after that, South Africa. It was the final frontier for India, and truth be told, it was the best chance for India to end their drought in South Africa. They won in Centurion. This came on the backdrop of India winning at the Gaba earlier in the year in 2021. But then a spectacular implosion in Johannesburg and Cape Town saw them squander the series and they lost 2-1. But the final tour in their overseas cycle ended with a 2-0 win versus Bangladesh. And remember, even the Bangladesh test match, the second match in particular, that went down to the wire. India won by a very slim margin to ensure that they didn't lose any more ground. So, in a nutshell, a dominant performance at home, a draw versus New Zealand, then a draw versus South Africa, a draw versus Australia plus a loss, It summed up a perfect home summer for them. But it was their overseas cycle that put them on the brink of elimination. That's why on the last day of the Ahmedabad test match, you were wanting Sri Lanka to lose to New Zealand, and that's what happened. So New Zealand did Sri Lanka a favor and also did India a massive favor. They did not allow them to qualify, and India went into the qualification. Now, who are the stars of India in this 2-year cycle just prior to the final? All these numbers are from the period of 2021 when the first series started until the end of this cycle, which was in 2023 before the final. Cheteshwar Pujara with 887 runs at an average of 32.85. His 100, incidentally, that was the only 100 that he scored in this cycle, and it came in that match in Bangladesh. Virat Kohli, 869 runs, but the average 32.18. 21 and 22 were very torrid years for Virat Kohli. He was in the middle of that big slump that he had, but that one century that he hit 186 on that flat deck in Ahmedabad ensured that he at least salvaged something out of it. But then we come to the next best batters in this entire cycle. Rishabh Pant, 43.4 with 2 centuries, both in Sena countries, South Africa and England. Rohit Sharma, 700 runs, 43.75, 2 centuries there as well, one at home and one in England. But the unfortunate part in this whole thing is that Rishabh Pant is not there because of that accident that he had in December 2022, and all the onus now is on Rohit Sharma. India's best batter, if you look at average in this entire WTC cycle. So, the middle order is underwhelmed, average of 32, average of 32.18, then you see only Rohit Sharma at 43.75. I am only looking at the players who are going to play in this ICC World Test Championship cycle final, not anybody else. So, the batters, the middle order underwhelmed, but despite that, India put in a great effort. And why was that? Because of the bowling. Ravichandran Ashwin was the star in this World Test Championship cycle with 61 wickets and 5 wicket hauls. If you look at it, quite a few of them. 2 5-wicket hauls. Jasprit Bumrah, he was the star in most of the conditions that they played in. 3 wickets, 3 5-wicket hauls with 45. But the unfortunate thing is Jasprit Bumrah is not going to be there in this World Test Championship final. And it's a big blow to India's bowling because he was the spearhead. Come whatever may, he set up the game for India in a big way on several occasions. Ravindra Jadeja, 43 wickets, 5-wicket hauls with 3. And then Mohammad Shami, 41. Now Shami holds the key along with Mohammad Siraj when you have to look at it. So Siraj, Shami, these two players with their ability to swing the Duke's ball as well as generate reverse swing, bounce and swing, these two are going to be the key, come what may in that final at the Oval. So, there is a deliberation of whether to play 2 spinners at the Oval. Are you going to drop India's leading wicket taker in the World Test Championship cycle for the final? It seems a far-fetched thought. Maybe India will go in with 2 spinners. Perhaps the conditions will offer you 2 spinners. But remember, there was a big problem even in 2020 when India picked 2 spinners, but the conditions demanded more pacers. India have to pick the right team this time because you look at the common trend, whenever they have lost, it has either been due to poor batting or the poor team selection that you look at it. Remember, the only loss that you can probably discount is the one against England because that baseball knock, it just blew everybody away. And remember, collapses, India have collapsed very frequently in Sena countries, and the problem is if they collapse even this time, one bad session, it could be all over. So one hopes that India can overcome their ICC title drought, 10 years in the making. Now they go on to win the ICC World Test Championship final against Australia. Thank you so much folks for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates from sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.